I want to turn now to Reverend Al Sharpton, who's going to eulogize Michael Jackson at today's memorial. He is with us now exclusively. Reverend Sharpton, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I know you have been with the family quite a bit since the loss of Michael. How are they doing? This has got to be for them a joyous day in some ways and a very difficult day in others.
Well, it's been very difficult and it's heartbreaking for them, but they seem determined to give Michael the kind of dignity and to protect his legacy. And myself and others that will speak today and will perform today are speaking to what they want, and that is that Michael was about love and about uniting and bringing people past their racial and nationality differences and religious differences. They are very particular about how they want him remembered, even as they grieve at this hour in their loss.
On Sunday, you delivered a sermon at a church, and you were pretty tough on the media and the media's coverage of Michael's death, the days after Michael's death. I want to show a little bit of that, and we'll talk on the other side, Reverend.
We come to L.A. for Michael Jackson because it's a double standard. Because when you have had other entertainers that had questions in their life, you did not degrade and denigrate them before their funeral like you've done Michael Jackson.
I understand it is a sensitive time, but isn't it important to look at both sides of a man, not just one side?
Absolutely, if we're looking at both sides. But if we're only looking at the sides of allegations that were never proven, trials that ended up being baseless, and not looking at his achievements and records, his breaking racial barriers, his bringing about a song on world hunger.
You don't think enough has been said about that?
Oh, not at all. And I think that is what we were saying. Yeah, let's look at both sides, not just bring up one side. We're not trying to make excuses for whatever shortcomings he had, but his strengths really outweighed them. Talk about his strengths. That's all I was saying. And not all of the media, but some of the media has absolutely been outrageous and disrespectful, in my judgment, to this family and to the memory of Michael Jackson.
Do you have a sense from the family of where they would like Michael's final resting place to be?
I think that they're very private about that, even among those of us that have been privileged to visit and spend time with them. I think they're more concerned about his public resting place, and that is that people around the world remember his message of love rather than the mess that some people are trying to connect him with.
You have talked about love vigils being held around the country today, that people should gather and, as you said, remember the message.
Remember the message. That's why we're here. We're here because Michael had a message, and despite whatever controversies he had, he never lost the message and was preparing to go to England to one more time bring us that message. We're determined today to have that message resonate, even though Michael will not be here physically.
And are you concerned, Reverend, what will happen after today when discussions of custody come up with the children and discussions of assets, Michael's assets, who gets control of the estate, all of those things that will churn after the fact?
What I'm going to do is, when all of that happens, I'm going to continue to concentrate on getting Michael's message out, his legacy out, and keep my iPod with some of his music there and just tune it out and tune Michael in.
Favorite song?
Well, Man in the Mirror is my favorite, but I also love many of his records. Remember the Time, a lot of things that I remember about Michael. And Michael Michael loved music, all kinds of music. And if you would visit him, you may hear everything from classic to jazz to anything. But Man in the Mirror was the one I liked about Michael Jackson.
All right, Reverend Sharpton.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. And we'll have much more throughout the morning. And NBC News will have live coverage of today's memorial, anchored by Brian Williams. That's going to begin at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And, of course, Dateline will have a complete wrap-up of Farewell to Michael Jackson. That is tonight at 10, 9 Central Time.